What's good? You already know what it is. I mean, clearly it's the shittiest game we've been talking shit about for like all 2021. um, but also, it's the Unknown Unknowns Laboratory. Mobius came and scooped me up off the beach in the heli. We pulling up on a little yachty. This ain't even a little yachty. This joint is like that.
Super yacht.
Yeah, this joint is that. So, shout out to Mobius flexing, man. Shout out to Xbox.
Hello.
Shout out to Twitch. I don't even want to show my face, y'all. My character looks jacked up, y'all. Jacked up. I don't know why I look like my daddy daughter, bro. Like, this is not cute. It's not cute. I was about to say, where am I going?
Down here.
Where we chilling at? Where we could get the view. I'll just say, I don't have a bathing suit, but if I get into the water, is it gonna like spawn me a bathing suit? Or am I just gonna be wearing these clothes?
That's an option you have to toggle.
Well, how do I toggle that?
We'll just hop in first. There you go.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, basics.
What are you doing? Were you in first person?
Yeah, how do I change the view?
Press the back button a couple times.
What's back?
The double squares? No, ow. No.
Damn, I ain't even slapped this
the double square. Start, select, back. Same thing.
Start, select. Good. Okay, I sat down. I'm less violent when I'm sitting. Anyway, guys, we've been saying this for the longest time. We was going to get with you on the GTA. We was going to switch it up. We was going to do something that we've never done before. Not like it's never been done before. Wait, who told that lie?
What? It's never been done before? It's never been done before.
That was Trump last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing things that has never been done before. So yeah, very awesome, very cool. I mean, listen, I want to get into the episode, but I do have to take an additional 2 minutes to say, fuck, I guess Rockstar for taking GTA 5 off of the Game Pass. I did not want to purchase this stupid ass game. This has been the most disappointing character building.
It's unnecessarily complicated.
It's not even unnecessarily complicated because The Sims let you go in depth, you know.
Well, yeah.
Just like
it can be complicated,
but it looks better.
Yeah.
It looks better. The Sims look better. Saints Row character building looks way better than this, and so again.
I'm trying
to,
so you know DC.
I'm trying to get this pool view. Oh yeah, no, I'm switching up the camera angles. I'm trying to get this steamy pool view, jacuzzi view, so you can't even see what I look like for real, because I look so ugly. Like I'm so sad. So anyway, all right. So we back at it like crack addicts. Not at all. Why did the sky get so gray? Is the boat moving or we just sitting here?
We're just chilling. It's probably gonna rain. It's probably already raining.
Like what? Is this real life?
I mean, that's definitely how it was earlier today. And I had to drive through that. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, the sky, like, it got so freaking dark on my ride home. And traffic was crazy. But anyway, screw all that. So whatever, you know what it is. Mobius, ShadyakaCartier, the Unknown Unknowns Laboratory. Thanks again for joining us. If we have any audio issues, I want to shout out to anybody that may be watching us on Twitch. Please shoot us a message so, you know, maybe I can attempt to fix that. But yeah, man, let's get into this episode, man. What's the theme, Mobius? What is the sketchy ass theme that we're working on today?
Did we pick one? The name? Or are we just going off the top?
Yeah, I picked one and then you picked like
5.
Another one.
Got bad, big government's
like,
bad, a bunch of other stuff. Basically, just everything's shit right now. It's pretty bad. there's not a whole lot of game news. Gamescom's over, E3's over. At this point, we're just waiting for releases for new games. So there's nothing to really talk about. Just some delays. Halo Infinite's been delayed a little bit. Battlefield just got announced a couple days ago that it's been delayed till November.
Wow.
But the beta's still coming out in like a week, so I'm not too pressed. Insurgency Sandstorm's finally come to consoles, so that's cool. But other than that, everybody's pissed. Speaking of GTA, everybody's pissed at Rockstar for announcing its enhanced and whatever update for the next gen consoles. I guess for the current gen consoles, and it just looks like the same game. Like,
Bullshit.
it just looks like the same bullshit. Like, mods on PC have made this game look amazing, and that's not at all what's happening on the current gen consoles. And in fact, people were kind of confused because it looks like there might be some bugs that they showed in their AAA produced professional trailer, set up professional trailer. So that's kind of like some fuckery right there. And then like
disappointments.
Yeah,
big disappointments.
It's bad,
Rockstar.
Man. It came
what
out.
What is going on?
It was like a couple of years ago, a decade at this point.
8 years.
8 years ago, was the last GTA release, which is this game, right? But if you look at the early 2000s, 8 year span, we had GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Bully, the HD version of Bully or whatever, like the Express Pack is. We had like Midnight Club, and other games and stuff like that. That's all in 8 years, man. Like this game.
GTA 5 came out in 2013, bro.
It did. It definitely did.
It blows my mind every time I look that shit up. Like, I can't believe I just paid for this game that I don't want and already beat. Like,
yep.
This shit is whack. This shit whack. Y'all gotta get y'all shit together. I don't know what y'all excuse is. Y'all making so much money off this game.
Yep. It prints money, bitch.
Well, I don't have a damn drink. That sucks. Anyway, I just keep smoking this shit that I didn't volunteer to smoke. But yeah, so Mobius went ahead and wrapped that up since we don't really got no gaming news. This episode, I want to, shout out Daria. I want to say, I think I'm gonna upload it on YouTube as Sad Werld, and I hope I don't get any
you just gotta
issues. I don't know.
You just gotta throw an eye. You gotta throw an exclamation mark where the eyes are.
Shout out to Sad Werld from Daria. Sad Werld is a fictional in-universe TV show in Daria. It's like a little news show, and it talks about like the weirdest thing. To me, it was more like the tabloid topics that you would see in the grocery store and stuff. Like, that's the type of stuff that they would cover. Just the oddest, strangest shit. So shout out to Daria, man. I mean, me and Mobius are, well, obviously I'm older than Mobius, so I don't want to be like, we are old people. But yeah, go check that shit out. Alright, so yeah, so shout out to Daria, Sad Werld, man. Go check it out. If you have some very sarcastic kids, or if you are a sarcastic motherfucker, you will definitely enjoy it.
Snarky people.
So shout out to shout out to the makers of the show inside the show, which also makes it cool as fuck. Like, that's a whole thing that I really enjoy. Watching shows that have like TV shows inside them or fake commercials or movies, like, I really enjoy that. So shout out to that. Anyway, so yeah, this episode, I mean, every now and then we mostly be on like main topics, but I feel like there's just so much bullshit going on in the world. Like, this was a no-brainer, basically. We were both like, it's just so much shit. Like, we was going over current events, and we were just like, damn, we really don't have like too much gaming news. I mean, nothing that we really want to talk about. It's that same bullshit going on with Who was going through them fucking sketchy ass lawsuits? Like nobody wants to talk about that shit. So it's just it's so much more going on in the United States, and we were just like we can't ignore that shit. So yeah, big government is bad. That was another name for the episode that Mobius came out with. So big government is a pejorative term for a government or public sector that is considered excessively large or unconstitutionally involved in certain areas of public policy or the private sector. And I never really like thought about what that meant. You know, I felt like that's just something that sovereign citizens say, or like people who are just like Illuminati, like conspiracy theorists, that they may feel that way. But when I read the definition, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like the shit that's going on with Biden, and not even Biden, the shit that was going on with Trump, the shit that's going on with every president. They all got some slick, shady background shit. They say one thing when they running for office, and then something else fucking happens, and their excuses.
Everybody likes to talk about
XYZ.
Clinton and how he liked black people, but he definitely signed that '94 crime bill that got a lot of black people locked up. And I'm pretty sure I saw something that said he was on Epstein's island, pedos. So.
And they was doing shady shit in Haiti. They fucked up Haiti, bro. Mm-hmm. Yes, like. Bro, they been spending years in Haiti doing shady ass shit. Like that, it's crazy. Like people will paint one picture to get what they want to get, but that shit is just a facade. So that's the only thing I can say about Trump. That shit he talked all over Twitter. It showed you who the fuck he really was. Like he wasn't hiding being the fucking jerk off that he really was. So, yeah. Anyway, and then what was the other name? The other name that we had for the episode was The New Reality, right?
Yeah.
The government doesn't care about your rights. And again, with the shit that's going on with Biden, it's becoming more and more obvious that that's not just the thing that people say.
Texas being not very Texan with the abortion bill, just, which we talked about previously when the southern states were trying to do it on the East Coast, taking away women's rights to choose for abortions and stuff. It's like,
and making it harder for brown people to vote.
Yeah.
Like,
so all this is happening.
Like, I mean, that's been happening for a minute, though.
And it's all a bunch of dudes, namely a bunch of old dudes, namely a bunch of old white dudes who are making these decisions on behalf of majority of the population, and that's big government. That's essentially big government right now. Like, not saying that people of color aren't doing that, because people are definitely groomed to take those people's places.
Oh yeah, Uncle Tom's. Uncle Tom's all day.
But at the same time, it's just a bunch of people who've been around since World War II. Like, that's crazy. 50 years of public service is nice, but unless you're on the beat, walking around, people can actually interact with you on a daily basis. You're just making decisions arbitrarily because you think or you want something to be a certain way. It's like, no, man, get out of here. So, yeah, big government's bad. This is the new reality where people are making decisions for you, and you might not even be, you might not even have a choice.
That's fucked up.
At the top of that list is probably the vaccine mandate, which was announced by the POTUS a week ago now. He came out and said that if you work for the private sector, if your employer has...
The executive order you talking about?
Yeah. If your company has more than 100 people, you'll have to get the vaccine, or the company will have to mandate that employees get the vaccine. If you work for the executive branch in any way, contractor or otherwise, you have to get the vaccine, and you can't even opt out and say, oh, I'm just going to get the test. I'm going to keep getting the test every week or whatever. No, you have to get the vaccine. If you work for the federal government in any capacity, you're going to have to get the vaccine. No option to opt out. And so it's getting to the point where, there are cops and doctors and first responders who are going, I'm not getting this shit, and screw this job. Like, you can't make people
Yeah.
do this. To which, oh, well, people go, well, blah, 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 you wear a seatbelt, you do this, you do that, you pay taxes. It's like, right, but you do those things because every country does those things. It's just a part of life. When you were born, you're gonna owe somebody. You just live. It's money, right? That's one thing.
I mean, but not just that. It's like I want to be a law-abiding citizen, and I want to like enjoy my rights as an American. And then it's like,
Right.
yes, pay these taxes. Oh, by the way, you don't have any rights to choose what happens to your body.
Yeah. Oh, if you're a woman, yeah, you can't do abortion anymore. Or if you're anybody else, yeah, it doesn't matter. Get this vaccine. But I have exemptions, religious or medical. Huh? Can you prove it?
Yeah, and they throwing that shit out too.
Yep.
And they was throwing that shit out too.
Separation of church and state don't matter no more. It doesn't matter. Just get this vaccine. Get that shot.
Right, and that, I mean, it's becoming sick. Like, they talking about federal workers and, healthcare workers, and that's really the struggle that we'll be talking about or touching on the most today. I think is just how, I mean, obviously common people are affected because I went to the doctor today. Pause for a second. Oh my goodness. I was holding that. I went to the doctor today, and well, obviously she's a doctor. She was like, I think you should get the vaccine. But I'm not telling you. I'm not trying to force you to do it. I just think everybody should get it. And I was just like, and then she asked me, is there any particular reason? I was like, there's way too many reasons. And so I was like, the fact that I went to pharmacy school does not help me trust the FDA or any drugs or medicines. Like, I only went to school to learn about what you're putting in the drugs. After the information that you, the government, the educational school system is giving me, what the fuck? Like, it makes me think that
Negroes.
Right, like at all. You taught me this information about the lies, about the deceptions, about the fucking bribery that goes on in pharmaceutical companies. Like, I literally went to pharmacy school so I could be I can't even think of the name of it. So I could be the person
Good guy, Shady.
that goes around. Just good guy, Shady. Absolutely, actually. All I wanted to do was sell drugs to big companies. Like, I wanted to work for the pharmaceutical companies and sell the drugs to the hospitals and travel around the United States promoting particular drugs that just came out. That shit destroyed my whole plan after I learned what the fuck was in these drugs. Like, people are dying from liver and kidney failure because of Tylenol. So these prescription drugs are like so much worse. Like, you couldn't even imagine. I mean, because again, it goes back to sounding like conspiracy theories. Like,
you gotta get that old
it sounds like BS.
Yeah.
Exactly. I talked to a lady today. She was like, "Oh yeah, my son has allergies, so I'll just make him some echinacea tea, and he's fine." Like, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, people are getting more and more back to the herbs, back to the earth, back to, nature, understanding what your body does, how your body was built. Like, come on. We have literal healing, I don't want to say devices, but like rapidly healing organs, and it is amazing. Our bodies are literally amazing, but everything that you're telling us by saying, take these drugs, you need these drugs, you must have these drugs, is contradictory to everything we've learned about the natural healing of the human body. And so, bong, I'm going off on a tangent.
No.
Anyway,
I think
so
we're tracking. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really a tangent because that's one of the issues that's being discussed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about Not the antibodies, but the wait, is it the antibodies?
The virus
Our
or
body like naturally producing defense against COVID.
mhm.
You know, oh, immunity. Yeah, our ability to naturally create a defense system against viruses. Come on, like nobody wants to talk about that. And there's a lot of nurses that are protesting, and literally, that brings me into the next story. So, read up on the WhiteHouse.gov. Read up on the executive order if you work for any type of government entity and you don't want to take the vaccine. I recommend you read up on that to make sure that the company that you work for actually has a right to force you to get vaccinated. And so that brings me to the next story where there are nurses who are literally like, listen, if I get fired, and shout out to the Guardian, even though I saw this story on YouTube, if I get fired, so be it. But you have to fire me, like you have to make a decision. And so it's really, really crazy, because in this particular story, there was a lady who showed up at work. She refused to get the vaccine. She's obviously a nurse. And she said, every time I talk to human resources, they're telling me that I'm not fired, but then you're telling me that I can't come into the building and that I can't work. So what is that called? If you're refusing to allow me to work, if you're refusing me access into my job, what is that called?
A loophole.
Either I'm fired, exactly, a loophole. Either I'm fired or I'm not fired, but it really sounds like I'm fired. So fire me, at the very least, if you're fired, you could collect unemployment. And so that's why I really don't appreciate this loophole, because, nothing in the Biden executive order did I see, after briefly scanning it, did it say you won't be fired from your job.
No, they're definitely not even concerned about that at all. They're just like, get the shot or bye.
Exactly. And so it's like, I'm not quitting my job. I did not quit. You're saying I'm not fired. I'm here to work. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And so I want to give a shout out to Trump for the whole fake news, because the first article that I saw pop up on my phone, and I want to grab my phone, because I absolutely hate these people. I absolutely hate these people. But I leave it on my phone just because, I feel like it does, like, I'm getting some news. Like, even if I refuse to watch the news and shit, I'm getting some type of news, even if I have to research it to find out if the shit that they're telling me is bullshit or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's called Newsbreak, and it is like, it's the most ridiculous shit. It keeps popping up on my phone for like the most ridiculous stories that I have absolutely no interest in. But every now and then, out of 100 fucking pop-ups and stories, there may be one and two that I might actually be interested in. And so it's sick. The first story I heard about the nurses and protesting and things like that was that ever since the executive order, it was like, I don't know whether it was New York or where they were saying, but is that there were 4,000 nurses or workers or something that were told, like, you have to take the vaccine or you're getting kicked out. And what happened? It literally said, nobody's quitting. Nobody quit their job. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because then I cut on YouTube, and there's like, in this state, in that state, in Louisiana, in Ohio, and like all of these different places all over the United States, nurses are walking out and they're protesting. I mean, it even got to the point where Biden was like, if you work at a nursing home and you don't get vaccinated, we will stop the funding
For that
to the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if this really wasn't as serious as an issue as it very obviously is, shit like that wouldn't be happening. There's a reason why these are healthcare workers. We not talking about Trump supporters in Texas and Florida who are just like, I don't want to wear no fucking mask. No, we're not talking about rich white people in California who are just like, I don't want to wear no fucking mask. These are people who went to school, who got educated about the FDA,
Mm-hmm.
about the CDC, about what's in the drugs, about what drugs do, about vaccinations, about, come on. This is their field
Of
to have
expertise.
some type of education. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is their field of expertise. And they are refusing this shit. And I mean, bro, this shit is crazy.
So,
So all last year when I was going to my primary care doctor, well, not just my primary care doctor, all last year when I was going to any different doctor I went to, I had a conversation with nurses, and that's because they ask you, are you going to take the, do you have COVID? Do you have symptoms? Are you going to take the vaccine? Oh, you busting? Now you busting up at this guy. This nigga, wow. Somebody looked like they was pulling up. Is a helicopter up there?
no, it's just a floor.
Oh, I'm like, who's up in the sky busting? um, one thing that you pulling gasoline on the boat? What the fuck is happening? Yo, this nigga is crazy. I can't. He's distracting me from reporting the news, guys. Like, one of the things the nurses kept, yeah, that shit looks vicious. One of the things the nurses kept telling me is that if they make me, this one lady was like, I love my job as a nurse. I love my job. But if they make me get the vaccine,
I'm a
and
bounce.
she was like, not even just that I love my job. I love my job and I need this money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she made that abundantly clear. But she was like, if they make me get the vaccine, I'm quitting.
Yep.
I'm going to be jobless. I'm going to be down bad. It's going to be whatever.
But so,
Because I'm not pumping that shit into my
so
body.
here's the kicker, right? They keep talking about,
Sick.
like, we've, a bunch of cities and states have gone back to more or less phase two. Everybody's still got to wear masks indoors regardless of vaccinations and stuff. But they just had,
Right.
every time you see all the politicians and stuff on the news, they got their masks on or whatever. But then as soon as the professional cameras stop rolling and it's just them, they take that shit off and they're just vibing and they're having a good time. Like I know
Yo, and we
somebody who
saw that.
works who's a contractor for the government, and he, every time he's in the lobby of like the Capitol or any of the like Library of Congress or any of those government buildings down in DC.
Important places.
Yeah.
Where you're being watched,
congressmen
surveilled.
and politicians, they got to go through security. And of course, the cops in there, they'll be like, hey, where's your mask, or you got a mask up, or whatever. And they'll complain about it even now, as we're heading back to this mandatory stuff. They're just complaining, like, I don't have to do that, blah, 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 blah. So, like, but here's the executive branch saying, hey, you have to do this, or you're going to get fired. So what's going to happen to all those guys? Like, there's a reason. There's some reason as to why they won't take it. They know something that we don't. But for black people,
Not just take it, but won't take it seriously.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, but so here's the kicker for that. Like, everybody's going, oh well, what? Just take the vaccine. It's like not a big deal. Blah blah blah. Blah. Okay, yeah, but black people historically have a bad relationship with medical providers. So you have to understand why people of color don't
Why the
trust the
brown
government.
people, the tan people, and even, back to the rich white people are just like, no. Like, we don't want the, like, educated white people. Let me put it like that, because it's not even just about rich. Like, you could be rich and dumb as fuck. But, like, there's a reason why educated white people won't take it. And they try to make the brown community look so ignorant, or like we're just so shocked about what's happened in the past. Like, oh, it makes sense. But guys, it's 2021. That was in the past. You can trust the government now. That was so long ago. No, like, there's a lot of targeting in the brown community, in the tan community, in poor communities to try to force us to get this damn vaccine. And there's a reason, bro. There's a reason, because like I said, every time you cut on the news about what's going on in California, they are at the school meetings, they are fucking protesting like crazy. They're not going for that shit. It's a lot of shit that I can say, like, California is absolutely disgusting. But it's a lot of shit that they have been like paying attention to and ahead of the fucking game on. Like what's being pumped into their water, you know, what's being used on growing their food, you know, like they have been paying attention for years about what's going on in California, and even sometimes to the point making stupid ass like state legislation over the shit. But you know, the point is they're active in their community. They're active in making a difference and standing up and saying, okay, the rest of the country, y'all could do this stupid shit, but we don't want nothing to do with it. And so, I mean, it's just really sad because it's like in the poor communities, it's like, well, the community don't care about me or the government don't care about me, so why should I care? Like, not enough people are showing up to the town halls and, you know, fighting back against this BS that's happening and occurring all around us. And so it just don't make no damn sense. Like I said, you know, her name is, I want to call her the s2e8 Karen of Louisiana. Shout out to her because I don't have her name. I have this long ass article right here, but I don't have her name. So like I said, shout out to the Guardian, and on to the next story. I mean, this is you know, we got some current events for you, and we'll probably throw it in at like the end of the episode or something, because right now, like this COVID shit is just, I mean, it's taking over. It's taking over on all different sides. So, fuck the executive order. Like, shout out to nurses. If you have any nurses in your family, man, show them love and support right now. And even if they did get vaccinated, I feel like there's obviously a lot of bullying going on. And so there's a lot of people who are really like, I wasn't going to get the vaccine, or I don't want the vaccine, and they did it anyway. And so support them. Like, that's all I can say. Support them. Like, let's not be on this Democrat versus Republican ass bullshit, vaccinated versus unvaccinated people bullshit, because a lot of people, especially older people, they are scared, they are afraid, they are just doing what they're told. And I mean, you know, puppets are puppets, bro. You know, people who don't want to question society, it is what it is. But you know, we gotta work together as a team, because at the end of the day, these are the people who we're inevitably gonna see in the next 10 to 20 years what happens to them for taking the fucking vaccine. And so, you know, we need to be fighting the government on the right to have a choice, not fighting each other. And that's what I think is really important. Like, I've literally had somebody come at me on Twitter like, you need to mind your business. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? If this is an argument about why people should and shouldn't get a vaccine, if your attitude is mind your business, why are you a part of this argument? Like, why are you reading my response? Why are you even on this post? You know, because I believe I am my brother's keeper. So if my brother, if my non-blood brother is doing something wrong, yeah, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in there. Like, the fuck is you talking about? That's the whole point. Like, I want the best for you, bro. Like, whoever you are in this fucking country. Because at the end of the day, if all your family dies tomorrow, who you got? Like, it's not just blood family. There's people that you choose to be your family. Especially in 2021. I mean, that's, you know, that's been a gang mentality for years. Like, if your blood ain't acting right, okay. You know what I'm saying? You got friends, you got people who you choose to be your family, who you choose to be your community, who you choose to surround yourself with. And I mean, choices must be made. So, all right, take 2. We got Mobius back in the spot. You know, we was just wrapping up the little one of many vaccination stories that we got going on. So, now I want to give a shout out to fake vaccination cards.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, says Mobius. So initially when I was Googling this, I was trying to find a story about the shawty that was in New Jersey. Because that was the biggest and only story I really heard of that I was like, wow, like that shit was gangster. Um, Not only was she selling the fake vaccination cards, but she was also putting the information into the system showing that you were like really vaccinated for real. So, listen, listen. The only thing I can say about that is if you didn't try to force us to get vaccinated in order to work in hospitals,
To do anything, really.
why? Yeah, I mean, if you wasn't trying to force, yeah, if you really wasn't trying to force the vaccination, big government, then this shit would have never even happened. Like, this shit ain't even necessary. But when you back the people into a corner, what you thought? And of course, the top scammer came from New Jersey, baby. So anyway, she was hot anyway, because on her Instagram, her name was Anti-Vax Mama. She was selling the vaccination cards, 200 a pop to New York City area jab dodgers. That's funny. That's what they call them. Shout out to NPR for this story. And then she was charging another 250 to put their information in the New York State vaccination database. And so, listen, I'm definitely worried about how much time she's going to get in jail. Like, I'm very concerned about that. Because at the end of the day, she helped a lot of people who would not have had a job, who has family, who has mouths to feed. I mean, the moratorium is over. So, even when she was doing this, it wasn't over yet. But in a lot of states, it was still a lot. It was people still getting, like, evicted all this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do when you might be threatened with eviction, your unemployment has stopped, and you got to go back to work? I mean, when we talk about the medical workers, shit, they've been working all throughout COVID. And so, I mean, what? Some of them haven't been, though.
Yesterday's
Like I
heroes
said,
are tomorrow or
yeah.
today's enemies, and that's how we're treating the healthcare workers.
Yo, that's literally how these people are being treated. And so, I can't say, it's entering the information into the government system, like, yeah, like that's a huge deal. But again, when you back the people up against the wall, like, to me, she's a hero, bro. Like, you're a hero scammer. You not over here like robbing people in the street. You're not over here killing people. You're making a way for people who essentially, I feel like, rights have been taken away. You're making a way from them. You're giving them a choice. And so again, I'm not saying like particularly scamming or, well, to me that's not. I don't know if that's scamming. That's what is that other thing? You make fake documents.
Fraud.
Yeah, that's fraud. Like I wouldn't want to call her a scammer because it's not like she's scamming the person who's purchasing the product. So at the end of the day, the fraud is fucked up. It ain't right, etc. Whatever the fuck the case is. But guess what? Nobody should have been in that situation in the first place. So shout out to the anti-vax mama. I hope somebody with that Trump bread send her some money for a lawyer. Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna put her in a pretty fucked up situation over what she did. But again, nobody should have been in that situation in the first place. Like that shit wasn't even right. But one of the things I wanted to point out when I was looking up the fake vaccination cards, so many things had popped up. So they got fake vaccination cards in China. It's popping. That don't literally say 2 hours ago. CNBC was like, bruh, through Telegram, they using the little app. Yo, it's a lot of shit. I just keep hearing shady shit. I've never been on Telegram. I don't know what Telegram does. I know it's just a new social media communication app. But all I keep hearing is that shady shit is happening on Telegram. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not on Telegram. Like
It's
it sounds like
probably
that's the new app for all the scammers. Like shit.
no.
Like,
It's probably like
and
Signal.
pedos.
It's probably like
I don't know
Signal.
what the fuck Signal is either.
They're both encrypted chats. So,
Oh.
should
Oh,
something
it's like
happen,
WhatsApp.
yeah.
Except WhatsApp got bought out by Facebook, so that's no longer, I would say, secret or
Encrypted, safe,
encrypted,
yeah.
because that's what people was using WhatsApp because they were like, none of this information is recorded. Facebook bought that shit. All your information is recorded. They're in your phone. They're watching you.
But Signal,
And big government took over Facebook. So,
yep.
I mean, not took over, but, they got to give up all the information that Facebook got, so. That's why I don't fucking trust Facebook, Instagram.
Signal, Parlor, and Parlor had got shut down for a while after the Capitol riots, but Signal, Parlor, and probably Telegraph are essentially the new sort of anti-big government movements. Like that's what we were using in the protests. We were on Discord, but at some point our comms had became compromised. And then we switched to Signal, and it worked pretty well. So.
Yeah, that's tough. So, the next story was on the Tribune Review. Fed 1 day ago. Feds seized 2 shipments of fake COVID vaccination cards in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh. 6 hours ago, more than 1,600 fake vaccinations cards seized by Cincinnati customs agents. Shout out to Cincinnati. Like, bro, if you ain't learning nothing else with these scams, if you ain't learning nothing else, you're putting us in this situation. Where's the democracy that this country is supposed to be all about? Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? Like, these are scams I am legitimately proud of. Like, you are trying to take away our choice. Like, this shit just make me think about Demolition Man. They took away the food. They had all the people living underground. They told them that they couldn't have sex no more. They treated the people fucked up, so they would rather live in the motherfucking sewers under the ground and eat mice, hot dogs, and burgers than fucking deal with the fucking, it's just sick, bro. It's just sick. Like, that's how y'all making me feel. Like, this shit is just getting closer and closer. You taking that to the point where people gonna be living underground. Like, it's already people who buy large parcels of land and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing over here. Like, there's already people who do just, what about the people who can't afford to do that?
Off the grid since
and that's the situation. You said what?
I said living off the grid since 1986.
Right, like shit. Like, what about the people who can't afford that shit? I mean, the train stations, the underground train stations ain't got enough space for everybody. And we already know the fucking mole people. We already know people living in the train stations, bruh.
Well,
like,
the New York one does, because people be down there vlogging their adventures. Like, yeah, I live in the New York train system, and this is how I get around.
No bullshit. Like, shout out to YouTube. No shout out to YouTube for that shit. Like, YouTube be giving you the tea, but they also kicking a lot of people off for telling the truth and
having opinions.
I mean, having contrary opinions. Let's put it like that. So that brings us into the very minor rabbit hole of this episode. Like we said, man, definitely hit us on the Instagram if you fucking with this episode or you got any opinion about what we talking about. Like, I know we're not super active on the IG, but I want to be. Like, Mobius be working 8 jobs like he a Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? But Shady's here, bro. I'm here to communicate. I want to know what y'all want to know about, what y'all want to learn. What is your concern in the brown community? So definitely hit us on the IG. Let us know what you think about the, season 2 of the episodes. And if you only heard season 2, you ain't hear season 1, and you fucking with how we go about things, bro.
Go check that out.
Definitely go check that out. Season 1 was lit. Like, it's not just all shit talking. Like, we love fact checking. That's my shit. So, basically, slide into the rabbit hole. All of this fucking COVID shit we've been talking about, like, bro, the most confusing shit about this whole situation is trying to trust big government. Like, how do we trust the government? How do we trust Biden? How do we trust the news? Like, how do we trust you?
Can't.
And, I mean, yeah, I was about to say, is there anything you want to say before I get into this Fauci bullshit?
Aaron Keener was right.
Oh, this motherfucker.
So,
like I said earlier, who the fuck is Aaron Keener?
Aaron Keener
Of the division.
Aaron Keener was a former first wave agent who was deployed to New York City during the peak epidemic that was known as the dollar flu. But
the dollar flu?
The dollar flu.
Oh.
This is a.
Are they saying that it was from money? I know it's in the game. But...
It was printed on money during Black Friday to make it spread. This is actually so this is actually based on a very real world exercise that took place in 2001 called Operation Dark Winter. This is something that really happened. This is what the game is based off of. So in real life, was it Bush? Whoever was POTUS at the time signed an executive order to see how we would fare in a biological attack, and this took place at Andrews Air Force Base. This is like a senior level event where, you know, a bunch of high-ranking officials did this. They had news programs scripted and everything, and it was designed to go out of control to see how we could respond. And as a result, Presidential Directive 51 was signed into act. So the game picks up, you know, several years later, and then this actually happened. Some American scientists said, hey, the planet's... He's doing some Bill Gates type shit. He bioengineered a smallpox virus, printed it on some money, and then put it in a Macy's equivalent store on Black Friday in New York City, and then it just kills a lot of people very quickly. So where Aaron Keener comes in is in the game version of this is the division is set up as an agency that they respond directly to the president, which means they supersede all federal authority except up to the president. And their job is to oversee operations and maintain the continuity of the government. Should, you know, okay, where's the president? We can't find him. Well, the division agents kind of act as his judge, jury, and executioner, you know, in response to anything that can and will happen, as long as it's for the better good of saving the country or whatever. So in the game, around like Christmas or New Year's, so, you know, only a couple weeks have passed. A lot of people are dying. People are starting to shoot at the military and the cops because they're not getting food, water. A bunch of people escaped from Rikers Island prison facility, and they flood into New York. So now, you know, anybody who wasn't dead or dying from the virus, now they have to deal with, you know, other people trying to kill them and take equipment and do all this stuff. So Aaron Keener, similar to what happened in Afghanistan, Aaron Keener was deployed to New York as a first wave agent. They are the best of the best. They're the secret squirrel CIA spooks. They're those guys. You know, DARPA technology, all that stuff. They got all the toys. And, you know, a bunch of them got sent to the dark zone to go save people and control the situation. And it got bad really quickly. And the government said, you know what, we're going to leave everything behind. Fuck all the equipment. Fuck anybody who can't get out on their own. Everybody needs to leave right now. So the military pulled out, the cops pulled out, first responders pulled out, and he gets left behind. And so does a bunch of other first wave agents, just like in Afghanistan. So he leaves and ends up becoming the bad guy. He, you know, you live long, you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And he becomes the big villain, you know. And he has a big grievance with how the government handled things. And even though they had a chance to get things done and turn it around, they said, nope, the cost is too high, we're leaving. It happened in Vietnam. It happened with the Pentagon Papers in Vietnam. It happened in Afghanistan. It happened with the Afghanistan Papers. Like, you know, this just, history repeats itself. And even though this is a video game, it's just like those fucking numbers, Mason. It's all based on things that have actually happened in real life. So, Aaron Keener was right. and I don't know how I feel about that.
Bro, and again, I mean, that shit go back to, if you ain't heard us on season 1, we talking about a lot of shit like that. Like, I stayed talking about Black Ops, the satanistic agenda, teaching children witchcraft, the new Black Ops, mining for Ethereum. I mean, it's too, I feel like people is watching movies and they think this shit is entertainment. There's books that are based on, I mean, some shit that somebody high up enough with an education or working somewhere, they done wrote a book about some shit, and that was fucking the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. And then in the 2000s, they gonna make a movie about this shit like this shit is entertainment, but it's not. 1984, Orwell, like, yo, y'all, like, people need to open their eyes and pay attention. Like,
one of the many dystopian outcomes that we can possibly see ourselves. Orwell's 1984 is probably like the worst one, but you got Judge Dredd-ish future, you got cyberpunk-ish future, where instead of the government, you got Mad Max, Mad Max is probably the most realistic one, because instead of, you know,
running out of water. And
yeah, and that took place in Australia. But if you look at the West Coast right now, that's kind of what they're dealing with right now. There are towns in the United States, in the U.S. of A., that are running out of water, where they can't, you know, it's being regulated so much that they can't turn on, you know, their taps and get fresh water, so they got to buy some. We thought Flint, Michigan was bad, but that was the tip of the iceberg. At least they still have water, you know.
Running is just poison as fuck. And that's, you know, and shit, I mean, when we grew up, we already knew we had to boil water, so that shit ain't, you know, that shit wasn't nothing new to me. To me, what was sickening was the mass scale. I mean, and then even back to what I said earlier about California, these motherfuckers was protesting because somebody knew somebody that had a family member that worked at the water, I don't know what they call it, the water treatment, facility in California. And they like, every day they make me dump this bag of poison into the water. And we Googled it, and this shit doesn't clean the water. It does like all this other crazy shit. So maybe we shouldn't be drinking it. Maybe we shouldn't be washing our bodies with it. Like
fluoride.
Yes, and the shit that's in the toothpaste that literally disintegrates your teeth. Come the fuck on. Then they put the fluoride in the water for babies. That's sick. If you buy specially made baby water, they're in the little teeny bottles, and they're for, like, I don't know what they call them, but it's like toddler water. It literally has fluoride in it. And and the whole thought behind it was like, kids don't brush their teeth enough. So drink this fluoride water. It's gonna, you know, help you with thrush. And no, fuck taste yummy. It's gonna help you with thrush. And every time you mute, it's like a loud ass clicking noise. So, you know, if you don't have to, maybe don't. But anyway, so alright, so man, listen, that shit, he blew my mind. You already know Mobius be on his battlefield, on his division. He be on his military games hard. So if it's a conspiracy in that bitch, and he see that shit happening, he gonna bring it up, because he already know what it is. This is what we doing, the unknown unknowns. Like, what's the difference between the conspiracy and what the fuck is happening in reality? Like, we talk about this shit every season. I can barely hear you.
I said Tom Clancy was with the GOAT when it came to government conspiracies and shit.
Right. And so, you know, when it comes to conspiracy theories, I don't like that word. Like, it's too much negativity behind it. You know, it's too much negative connotations behind when somebody say conspiracy theory. Like, oh, it's just a theory. That means there is no truth. There is no facts. No.
Fucking lies.
If it's a really good conspiracy, the reason why is because there's too much, you know, fact to back the shit up. And it's not fact that you can watch on the fucking news. And everybody is so stuck on Is it on Fox? Is it on NBC? Is it on CNBC? Who do I trust between the 3, 4, 5
It's
fucking
on live leak.
CBS stations? What the fuck is you talking about? Why would they put that shit on any one of those stations? Why would they put the actual truth on any one of those stations? There's so much misinformation going out here. There's so much fucking fake news. Like,
The Guardian.
we can call it misinformation, and that sounds good, but the shit is fake news. The shit is fake news, and so we're gonna get into that. The motherfucking king of 2020 fake news, not even Trump himself, motherfucking Fauci, and that shit really hurt me, bro. Cause last year we were like, listen to Fauci, and then it was like, hold on, wait. 2021 come around, everything
fucking
Fauci
lies.
said was a lie, right? Like, bruh, it's just like this is how they pit us against each other in our communities. It's like, are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? Do you support Trump? Do you support Biden? Do you support Fauci? Like, I feel like when we know something is inherently evil or wrong, or we see shit we don't like, we lean towards the other options. But bro, if your other options are all rigged, if they're literally rigged,
then the system's broken.
how can you really, then the system broken, like Mobius said. Like, how can you really make a better choice and decision? And I feel like that's the,
that's the last
podcast,
3 presidential elections.
fucked up, young. It's like having this fucking podcast, and like, we got to be accountable for the shit that we said last year. We recorded this shit. We uploaded it to the fucking world. Like, we really thought that maybe he was on our side. We really thought that maybe he was for the people, regardless of what the fuck Trump was talking about. And then all of this shit, I mean, I know I already talked about it before, but then all of this shit comes out that you lied about what was going on in the Wuhan lab research. You lied about what was in the grant documents, what they were allowed to do and what they weren't allowed to do with the money that the U.S. government gave them. Every single opportunity that you had until you was put on the fucking spot with fucking facts and paperwork, you lied about. And so how the fuck do we trust big government? How do we trust you, bro? It's not, this article on Newsweek came out on 9/9/21. How, we still don't know whether to trust you.
Well, to be fair,
we still are confused about the shit you said last year.
To be fair, yeah, it's probably a lie. It's more likely than not a lie. But to be fair, it could have just been criminal negligence on a massive scale. They just didn't know what they were talking about, so they just said anything that made sense from normal protocols. But, I don't know.
And that's us trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And so let me break down criminal negligence, because Mobius was saying that shit, and I was like, that shit sound like some Trump, that sound like some bullshit, something that you say. You should have just pleaded the fifth. Anyway, criminal negligence. In criminal law, criminal negligence is a surrogate mens rea required to constitute a conventional as opposed to strict liability offense. It is not, strictly speaking, a mens rea because it refers to an objective standard of behavior expected of the defendant and does not refer to their mental state. That shit sounds like a fucking joke. Okay? It refers to the conduct in which a person ignores a known or obvious risk or disregards the life and safety of others. That's what the fuck that shit means for real. And so, like I said, you was better off pleading the fifth. And so, the reason why I say Fauci lied, because there's a video from 2017 of Fauci telling us that a virus is gonna hit. But at the same time,
Bill Gates said that shit too.
The grant, I mean, shady ass motherfucker. He also said that there's too many people in the world, and that people dying is to the best of it's the best benefit. But we not gonna get into that. That's why I wouldn't trust anything that fucking Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is pushing out.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to his wife paying for, the college students to attend school for free. That's really nice. You gotta make up for murdering people, but also we already know that those are just tax write-offs. It's just a tax write-off, bro.
Yep.
It's just a tax write-off. You get to pay less in taxes because you gave $250 million out of your $500 billion, for donation. But anyway, at the end of the day, Fauci lied about too much shit. Like, you already knew. Richard E. Bright, Board of Governors Professor of Chemistry and Chemical Biology at Rutgers University and Laboratory Director at Waxman Institute of Microbiology, told Newsweek these documents show unequivocally that the NIH grants were used to fund the controversial gain of function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China. And that's something that they asked Fauci about over and over and over again, and he fucking denied it. He fucking denied it. And at the end of the day, you was in the role of the person to know this information. That was your role. That was your job.
Your one job.
To know this information.
Yeah, one job, Fauci.
And you lied. And so I got, so, Mobius want to give him, what was the doubt word?
Benefit of the doubt.
Mobius want to give him benefit of the doubt in circus situations. Okay, Mobius is busting for no reason. There's rats on the boat. He's setting the boat on fire again. I missed it this time. I didn't turn the camera around.
I was trying to.
You setting your own
boat
on fire. Oh, you put the gasoline and then you were shooting it like in the movies. That's cute. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's like, I can respect, right, having the information, working for the government, and being told by a higher up government that you cannot share this information with the public. I get that, right? But what is the point of doing all these news reports then? Like,
Weekly.
How the fuck do you look? How the fuck do you look? Like, and we talking about, and not even just news reports, anything that, like, can be recorded, anything that can be traced back. The whole fact that we can go back to 2020 and watch Fauci on the news, go back to 2017 and watch Fauci telling us that we need to prepare for this virus, knowing that the grant money was about to be given to the Wuhan, whatever.
Yep.
The Wu-Tang dynasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing this information, and then in 2021, like, what did you really just think none of this shit was gonna come out? Like, for real, like, maybe if Trump was president this year, maybe it wouldn't have came out. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck was you thinking for real? Because at the end of the day, now we don't trust you. And who the fuck is Fauci? I forgot. He was like, let me see.
Some guy.
I thought he was like the head of the CDC or some shit.
No, I think he's like
okay, Anthony Stephen Fauci, OMRI, is an American physician, scientist, and immunologist serving as the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and the chief medical advisor to the president. Okay, so I thought he was like the head of the CDC or some shit.
Nope.
But no, he works for NIH. Like, that shit is not cool. That shit is not cool. You knew what the fuck is up. And you 80 years old and you from Brooklyn, New York. Listen, if don't nobody else know how to play the motherfucking lion-ass game, come on.
New York.
Come on. Shout out to New Yorkers.
New York.
Shout out to New Yorkers. Y'all been lying. Yo, if we don't know nothing about New York, we know that it's corrupt as fuck, bro.
They got the gift of gab.
From your governors, from your fucking who else got who
Big
that's his cousin,
media,
right?
yeah.
Anthony
Cuomo,
Fauci.
the Cuomos.
I mean, not Cuomo. Yeah, I'm thinking about the Cuomos. Like, come on, from the Cuomos to the was Cuomo the governor?
Yeah, it was Andrew Cuomo,
From
I think, is the
from
governor,
Cuomo
and
to
then
the
one of them.
governor that was before them,
Yep.
to the head of police motherfuckers,
Yep.
to all the movies that we have about what happened in the American gangster, like all that shit that happened
70s New
in New
York,
York,
the
bro.
bad old times,
The
man.
shady police, bro. Like them still trying to get rid of the shady police. Still, it's 2021, and they're still trying to get rid of shady ass police in New York. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? If we don't know nothing else about New York, is that we can't trust New Yorkers, b. Like, this is
Hmm.
like, come the fuck on, bro. This shit is sick. That shit's sick. So,
Cardi B.
you know, like I said, how can we trust big government? Like, I definitely don't trust the Gates. I don't even want to talk about them. I feel like that's a whole nother episode. Like, attack the Gates. Like, the Gates. I don't know.
Hmm.
The Gates? The Gates?
Gate.
Gate.
Hmm.
Like, and like Mobius keep hitting that, Pedo Island, motherfucker, like, who are all these motherfuckers that was on the airplane together hanging out? Like, come on. Even if y'all didn't have a bunch of kids on the airplane, the shit that was in Hillary Clinton's emails, that shit was not a good look. Like, there's a reason why Trump was going after Hillary Clinton. Trump is all about grabbing, well, from what we know about Trump, he's all about grabbing women over 18's pussies. But what he seemingly has a problem with is fucking pedophiles. And so, come the fuck on. Like, I'm not saying,
I heard
like,
he
my
was on
mother
that
used to
island.
say, oh, Trump? Oh, when he was younger, yeah, they say he was on the fucking, that
Pedo
one
island.
island with the big ass squirrel and shit. Yeah, the top pedo island and shit. But then they stopped fucking with Trump like a long time ago, cause he wanted to run for president when he was young, when his hair was his.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when he had a nice little mane, he wanted to run. And I think he always had opposing views. Like, I feel like when you look at his life and where he was raised and all of that shit, like, it's like they really set him up. It was like the Bushes. They set you up and they raised you to be president, or they raised you to be somebody important. And, your own belief system or your unwillingness to play the game. Now it look like you smoking a jack. That shit don't even look like a J no more. Then you just gonna drop it into the jacuzzi. That shit ain't cute either.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what the fuck are you doing? The camera is facing the other way, and you just doing like wow shit. Like, this shit goofy as hell. GTA goofy, young. I don't fuck with it though. It's just fucked up. Like, how do we mend these trust issues? Because
Eat the
it's
rich.
too much shit. Eat the rich. Oh my gosh. You always shouting out wild ass shit that sound like it came from Purge. And shout out to the new Purge movie. That joint was good. Forever Purge. I did not think it was gonna be good. I was
gotta
just like,
see it.
I'm so tired of the Purge. They just gonna keep making Purge movies. Now I heard they got a show, and I guess somebody told me that the show was supposed to be a spinoff from the movie
Mm-hmm.
Forever Purge. But
The show came out before
in
the
the movie. Oh, all right. So I guess it was like preparatory for the movie.
Mm.
But that shit was like, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, and it was some real shit. Like, what do you do when you shake a bottle up and you take the top off?
Hmm.
You can't stop. You can't stop the explosion.
Nope.
It's gonna happen. And so that's how I felt about Forever Purge. And I mean, fuck, whoever wrote that shit, you could kind of say that's another dystopian future shit. Like,
Yep.
y'all think that shit, like, we already take life so lightly. Whether it's the police killing people, whether it's fucking the abortion shit, like, I'm a woman, so, people are often surprised when I say fuck the right to choose, because you can always give that baby up. Like, I know that's still 9 months of your life that you gotta give up. But shit, I'd rather give up 9 months of my life and pass that baby on to all the millions of people who want babies you know what I'm saying, than be a baby murderer. Like, and we even discussed that in one of our episodes. Like, Mobius was like, yeah, I'm pro-choice. And then we literally went down the list of like, when does a baby develop a brain? Like,
Yep.
too fucking soon for y'all to be murdering a baby when they got a brain, a heart, and some fucking lungs. And y'all talking about, oh no, abortions is cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there gotta be better set limitations on shit if we're gonna do it. But the problem is the baby is almost sprouted almost instantly. So you a fucking murderer. Anyway, like I said, desensitization, lives don't matter. Fuck black lives, brown lives, tan lives. It's like the desensitization of like, lives really don't matter. Like, they don't count for shit. Like, property is more important, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing we learned from the riots. Property is more important than people's lives.
I know. All you gotta do is look at chemical weapons testing, because the answer's always, okay, so how do we get rid of a bunch of people but keep property damage to a minimum? We like this stuff. We want that stuff. How do we kill everybody?
Justifiably.
Yeah. Well, even unjustifiably,
VX
VX gas is, you know, some of the most dangerous shit on the planet, but somebody made it.
You said what is?
VX gas.
What's VX gas?
The deadly poison that's meant to kill people. I mean, it's just a weapon.
Who's using it? That sounds like something in like military warfare. Not that the cops should be.
No, of course
not.
No, the cops. I'm just saying,
okay.
Like, people. The reason that this should exist in the first place is because somebody was like, okay, so nukes are cool and bombings are cool, but what if we just want to kill everybody without nuking them? How do we get rid of all the people without the property damage? Gas.
Oh, you talking about that shit that they had the airplanes spraying around and shit? It's like, nah, I don't know.
No, that's
I don't know if it was the
that's
gas.
Agent Orange. And that's meant to kill crops.
Anyway, they were still spraying shit. Nah, this is not. But the point is that if you could get away with that, because it was about crops, it was about bees, it was about mosquitoes, it was about anything and everything. But how does that affect humans? How does that affect our lungs? You know, that's the information that they're not gonna honestly give us. Hey, yo, is somebody over here busting at us?
Shit.
Damn! Yeah, I'm to the boat. I saved them. I saved them on the camera. Bro, we don't.
So I can't shoot him.
We spawned back on the boat.
Yeah, I can't shoot him because all these people keep fucking calling me.
I don't even know how to take my gun out.
Yep.
So all I can do is like run. Hold up, it won't let me move. I can't move. I can't walk. Oh, there I go.
I got him.
It wouldn't even let me move. All right.
Yeah.
You killed him?
Yeah.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play with this guy. Killed the CEO. Damn, is he gonna come back? He's just gonna keep killing us? I'm not with this. I'm leaving, bro. I'm leaving. How do we make it a private game?
I just
money
turned yacht
right?
defenses on, so we're good.
Oh, alright. So what does that mean?
It means that
that's automatically?
No, well, if he's in the air, it'll kill him, but anything else, like, he can't pull out weapons on the boat, so he'd have to go somewhere else and try to shoot us somewhere else.
Nah, nice. Oh, you still gonna try to blow this shit up because he mad?
No, he took the helicopter, but it's now shooting at him, so... Yeah.
Oh, your helicopter shooting at him?
No. No,
Damn, look, there's blood in the pool. I can't enjoy this. There's blood everywhere. It looked like Scarface was here. This shit looks fucked up.
The world is yours.
This shit right here where I just got slightly murdered at, you know.
Yep.
Just a little murder.
That's just tomato soup, man. Come on, man. You just gotta...
This shit ain't right. I was like, why are we not in a private place? I mean, I knew it was gonna happen eventually.
I thought it was gonna come from the air, though. He definitely just went off the map, snuck up on the boat, and then decided to kill us.
That's good. It's lit. You see, we try to give you some excitement on the unknown unknowns. We trying out different shit, man. We just, we doing what we do best. We gamers.